have a sneaking feeling we're going to upset everybody on this episode. We're going to fix a problem, a common problem on boats, but we're not going to do it the way everybody else does. Thinking outside the box isn't popular. It upsets people. Meanwhile, this arrived today from one of the subscribers. And I like it. One of our Gen Xers, you know, Parrot George. But actually, it's very practical down here in the boat. I'm of that age where the thatch is a little bit thin. And this is just enough for whenever you're banging in your head to sulfate your scalp. So that's something. Now, back to the meat of it. In this episode, we're going to solve a very common problem on boats, and we're not going to solve it properly, which is going to upset half the world. We're going to do it completely differently. Why? Well, let me explain it this way. This port light is leaking somewhere along the bottom edge, which means the fiberglass here, we're dripping down and into this area. As you can see, it's not a big leak, and that tells me that the seals between the glass and the frame no longer deserves to be called a seal. How do we fix it? Okay, let's talk. So, we all know how to fix that. You take the window out, you replace the seals, you put it all back together, and that's something I can do at my leisure while away sailing down the French canals and into the Med. It doesn't need to be done now. But how do we solve that quickly and easily? Well, there are solutions. The obvious, the one that everybody goes to, is silicone, which isn't the solution at all. Silicone is not going to work because it literally is a big ugly bead of silicone masking the problem. However, there is amazing stuff called Captain Trolley's capillary action sealant, and it's very effective, but it's not what we're going to use here. I'm going to tell you why we're not going to use it here. Captain Trolley's capillary action sealant is a little bottle about yay size of what looks like milk of magnesium, and when you pour it along out of the little stopper, it's like a big version of super glue, if you like, and when you take that along the area that there's a crack, the capillary action absorbs in the Captain Trolley sealant. And what does that mean? I literally can hear you sitting there going, George, what are you talking about? So let's translate this across back into Generation X speak. Grumpy old men. We've been there, we've seen that, we've done that, we know a few things. What does it actually mean in plain speak? Well, if you hang your towel over the edge of the pool with the end sticking into the pool, the water wicks up the towel. That's capillary action. That's all it is. Capillary action isn't big, it isn't clever. It's just how water absorbs into something. Because if this works and this is effective, this is one for your dirty tricks bag whenever you are out sailing and you need a quick solution. So in effect, we're going to repair the window with a blade. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but what I'm actually doing is removing part of the problem, which is silicone. you don't know what I'm doing and why, that's fine. Stick around, you'll learn something. Now, naturally, you would know by now that I've already tested this method and proved it to be 100% effective, or I wouldn't be showing it to you. There's a lot of people out there who've got expensive boats, and those expensive boats are more of an investment than a hobby or an interest. So if you've got an expensive boat, you're going to replace your windows, you're going to replace seals. But if you're just a practical boater that's got a dripping window, you want a much simpler solution that doesn't require a lot of investment in time, effort, or money. You need a simple solution. And again, with a bad pun on the solution, but there is a simple solution, and that's what we're doing here. So we get the seal cleaned all the way back. Don't worry about the frame. Don't worry about the glass. That's not where the leak is. We need to get into the fissure between the seal and the glass with this water-based magic water, we'll call it for now. I still haven't given away what it is. In fact, you're probably going to throttle me when you actually get to know what it is. And for the eagle-eyed among you, you should be able to see what it is because it's reflected in the portlight. So we paint it in, and we paint it in heavy, and we don't worry about it being on the glass. We can trim that off with a razor blade later. As you saw, I didn't sand the windows down, I didn't sand the outside, that's all yet to be done. I did this first, and the reason being is, I'm able to trim the excess off the glass with a razor blade. You've seen how it's been done, and now you need to know what it is. Yeah, I'll tell you. It's water-based yacht varnish. If you paint water-based yacht varnish on anything and it rains, it washes off. If you paint water-based yacht varnish onto something and it rains and it washes in, it dries in there, closing the hairline fissures. We don't need to take them out, we just need water-based yacht varnish to follow the path of where the water's oozing through and close it. Does it work? Yeah, it does. I'm starting to believe that boats actually run on sandpaper.